Hey guys, Chris, Aviators Off-Road and Grind, and today I'm going to talk to you about the Starlink Mini Roam and just what a game changer this thing is when you take it in the backcountry. A lot of times we're going to places where there's just zero communications. The cell phone signal drops off 50 miles earlier, and then you're out there wondering how your loved ones are doing, what your property's doing, what the world is doing. So the Starlink Mini is just really a total game changer. Again, I say it in the sense that it brings all of that with you. You also have to be careful that you don't spend too much time on the internet, obviously, when you're back there. I'll also get to the payment plans on it. But as you can see, it's on the table right here behind me. It's the size of a laptop, and it weighs probably about half as much as some of them. It allows you to just put it into a backpack and take it with you. There's no separate router. The router's a part of the system itself. It's within that antenna. And it pretty much just does everything on its own. As you can see, it's slanted up just a little bit because there's a tab on the backside that provides that little tilt to it. So there's a couple caveats with this device that I want to talk about today, and specifically the powering and also the direction that you're going to have to point it. So before I get to that, let me just explain what Starlink does and what it doesn't do. The house version, the version that you get to mount to the top of your house, it's a permanent install usually. And that has its own little servo motors in it that can actually face the satellites. These things have to face the satellites. Luckily, the sky is covered now in SpaceX satellites, but they do work best when they are facing the most optimal direction still. So the one on your house is going to auto adjust and get to the perfect position because it's got these little servo motors in it. Well, this one does not. They've obviously left that out for probably weight reasons. And so you have to do that yourself through the app, and it shows you how to do it and which way to turn it on the app to get the right direction. The right alignment is what they call it. And then once it's aligned, the speeds tend to go way up. I was getting 250 megabytes down out there in the backcountry with it. The issue that we had was where to put it. Now, obviously, it's small enough, etc. You want to put it on a place that's not going to have any obstructions. So if you're out in the middle of nowhere, a lot of times that can be a super far distance from your rig, right? Which is usually the power source. They do provide you with a super long cord for the thing, but I wanted to get other options for powering it. So I'm going to talk about that. Also, just where to put it. We started out by putting it on top of the batwing awning, which didn't really work because every time the wind came up, it forced the little tilt lever on the back to fold, and then it would fall flat with the top of the awning and lose its alignment, etc. So I devised a system, involves a tripod you can see behind me, and that super cheap off Amazon. I'll provide a link in the show notes. And for very, very little extra money, you are able to mount this thing so that it's not on the ground, number one, where you're going to trip over it, but also number two, in a way that allows you to now adjust the angle of it and then just hold that angle. The next obvious thing is the powering of it. I was running a cord out there to it, and that was a bit of a pain because I didn't want to trip on the cord, neither did my girlfriend. So I found a couple ways to power this thing that are going to make it easier. In the meantime, I was using a power station, a Goal Zero 1500X Yeti. And unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, the power that comes with the Starlink is 120 volt AC. So the Yeti is all DC, and then it has AC outs through an inverter, which allow you to do standard wall outlets. But that just takes extra power to run the inverter. I want to run straight DC to it. There's not a whole lot of info on the Starlink website on how to do it yet anyway. So I just went on the internet and started investigating, and I found a battery option, which is really cool. I'll show you that today. In the meantime, what I did is I just went with the cigarette lighter extension off of Amazon, and that is DC. So don't have to run the inverter on the power station, which sucks extra power out of the power station in order to convert DC to AC. And then once it gets into the plug then it's about that big, converts it back to DC. So you're going over this big hump of power suck, which you don't need to do. So every once in a while you come across a product on Amazon that is crap because it comes out of some third world country somewhere, and for $9, that's what I did on this part right here. This is the part that was supposed to fit perfectly in here, and whoever made the mold for this thing on the other side of the planet really screwed it up, because I've spent the last 10 or 15 minutes just grinding this thing down in an effort to try to get it to fit in there, and it won't. So I'm almost getting ready to just abandon this idea altogether. I just don't yet know what I'm gonna do to substitute it. Obviously it'll take a galvanized fence post in here, which is what I think this is made for, but then I gotta make a stand, and I don't want to weld something together. I just want a quick and dirty fix, like a tripod. That was the whole point. This is so unbelievably frustrating. First world problems, of course. Notwithstanding though, don't have anything that's gonna work. Okay, this thing just took 30 minutes of grinding to get it to fit in here, and you want to talk about a pain in the ass. Whoever did this over in whatever country, you really messed it up. But anyway, so at this point, I'm just going to finish the assembly of the thing and put it on the tripod. All these tripods have these tripod trays, and better ones, not that this is a good one, it's pretty cheap, but they come off, and it just makes them easier to put on. You see on the back side here, there's a little tab that you can turn to turn these. Essentially now what happens is this part just screws right into here, then it fits onto the top of the tripod, hopefully. It should. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Yeah. Here we go. We have what I set out to make. The thing I don't like is how close together these feet are. See that? Because all it could take is just a nice gust of wind and it's gonna tip over. Plus it's doing this. So, yeah, this tripod, it's gonna go. Okay, so this is the tripod that I have decided to go with, and as you can see, it's much more robust. Okay, so one thing to mention before you get too far along in this process of putting the mount into the Starlink, snapping it into place, is that you still have to put your power cord in there. What you're gonna do is you're just gonna feed it through first, then plug it in, and then you're gonna snap your mount in. Okay, so you might be looking at the feet on this tripod and asking, well, you know, what's the difference between the feet on this tripod and this tripod, because they're pretty much almost the same in terms of just the distance spread at the base. This is what you get with a slightly more expensive tripod as a feature that I really love. They come with these tabs right here. You can just tap one tab, and then what it allows you to do is just go boom. Now that leg is extendable out to there. So you just do it on the other ones, and you now got yourself a totally stable platform for the Starlink. Now you can keep it low to the ground like this. It really doesn't matter. I probably would not extend these legs out just when it's windy. But otherwise, I mean, there's really no point unless you're trying to clear an obstacle that's within 5 feet of the ground, right? So not very typical or likely, but you know, I mean, there you go. And then once you get out in the field, all you're gonna do is adjust the ball, and now you can get any tilt that you want, okay, while you're doing the alignment on the phone. So it really is an ideal setup. And this can just go right into the 12-volt power outlet that is on your power station if you have one, or in the case of a trailer, a lot of times they'll give you these. All right, so I've got the Starlink running, and it's hooked into the 12-volt power outlet here on the Yeti 1500X. At 80% or 82% of charge on the unit, it's showing 34 watts, 36 watts right in there. going to the Starlink and giving me about 26.5 hours of power. So obviously you're not going to have it on the entire time. Probably turn it on maybe 2 to 4 times a day, obviously right when you get up in the morning before you go to bed at night. If you come back for lunch, whatever, you're going to check email, you're going to check text messages, you're going to make phone calls. Somehow, somebody please explain the magic voodoo behind all this, but I was able to make and receive phone calls on the iPhone. So I'm assuming it's only a 13, so it didn't do satellite. But hey, it worked. I'm happy with everything. I'm glad that I was able to kind of go through this stuff in the video with you. Sorry for all the rigmarole with the other tripod, and especially with the mount, man. That was just a total pain in the butt. If I find a better mount out there, I will obviously post it up on YouTube for you. In the meantime, I highly recommend the Starlink Mini Roam. Worth every single penny. I got this one refurbished. I'll look up the price, and I will post the price right here in the middle of the Starlink. There it is. And the plan as well, I'll post some info on what I pay, etc. Folks, if you like the video, I just can't tell you how much I appreciate a subscribe and a like. It really, really helps me out with the algorithm on YouTube. It basically looks at the amount of subscriptions and likes, especially the subscriptions, as a way of gauging interest in the video. Obviously, with small channels, there's not going to be a whole lot of interest because there's not a whole lot of subscribers yet. So the more you subscribe, the more it helps me out, the more it sees the interest, and the algorithm will then pump this out into the search results, and we can grow the channel that way. So anyway, hope you guys have a great weekend wheeling or whatever you're doing today. Drive safe, and we will see you on the next one.